Good morning, good morning. Welcome to another Monday Messages. And for those of you who might be tuning in for the first time, my name's Rebecca. I'm a homeopath. I'm a holistic life coach and natural health advocate. And my Monday Messages are something that I do every Monday at 10 o'clock to share a thought, a practice, something that might, I hope, stimulate you to think about how your life is going, how you're feeling, what's working for you and what isn't working for you, and how you can change that if you want to. So, welcome to another Monday. Here it's just been a fabulous weekend, so I hope that you have enjoyed the weekend too. I spent yesterday sunning myself on one of our local beaches and swimming in the beautiful sea. No jellyfish to be seen, thank goodness. So today I wanted to do a bit of musing, really. I've had in my kind of thought process for a while now the whole subject of feedback. And I had a client last week who I'm working with on an ongoing basis, who is becoming unstuck in her own life, particularly her work life, because she finds it very, very difficult to give feedback. And that's one of the things that we've been working with together with to deconstruct why that's the case and to just shift a few limiting beliefs and limiting perceptions about giving feedback and what that actually means. Excuse me, I've got a loose hair on my lip. So as part of that process, as ever, it's been useful for me to look at, well, what does feedback mean for me as well? And how do I give feedback and how do I receive feedback? Because I'm sure you've all heard of the feedback loop, which is a continuous loop of giving and receiving. And for me, that really sums up how a feedback loop should work. And that is that what is behind our desire for some kind of feedback, especially when we are giving ourselves, whether we are a parent, a friend, a romantic partner, a colleague, it doesn't matter, or even online, actually, in your work. If we are giving out, don't mean angrily, I mean if we are creating something or expressing ourselves in some way, most of us would really like some kind of response, some kind of interaction with our audience. Even if that's one person or a whole group of people, it doesn't matter. Some acknowledgement that we've been heard, we've been seen, that our efforts have landed in some way. And ultimately, to me, that just speaks to a very primal need that I believe that we have in all of us, actually, that is to connect with others, to interact with others, to have that constant reciprocal movement of giving and receiving. And it reminded me of one of my own big triggers, actually, which is if I feel that I have said something or done something or created something and there is no response, absolutely no response. It's, you can almost hear the tumbleweed blowing down the empty street. It makes me, it triggers me into feeling, okay, what's the point? What's the point then? Whatever I've said, done, created, whatever, is worthless. is not worth it, and I should perhaps just give up and not ever do that again. It's a very faint trigger for me now because I've done quite a lot of looking at it, quite a lot of exploring, and I've let go of a lot of the beliefs that kind of fed into that. But it can still pop up as a sort of ghost version. And there were many reasons for that. But one of the things, and I love how the universe works sometimes, this morning in my feed when I was checking things, the wonderful Ian White of Australian Bushflowers was talking about an amazing remedy called Tall Mulla Mulla, which is all about how we can sometimes become very reclusive and unable to interact with others, that we prefer to be on our own, quite isolated, and, live alone. And yet underneath there's a terrible feeling of sadness and lack of connection. And the reason for that is a deep, deep-rooted fear of conflict. And that can come obviously from all sorts of early experiences, or one recent experience, doesn't matter. What it does is it sets up that conflict. It breaks that feedback loop because we are keeping people out and they will pick up on that and they will stay out. And that makes us feel even more isolated and rejected and unable to connect. So it becomes a self-perpetuating, what's the word? So self-fulfilling prophecy, if you like. And it can cause great unhappiness because we have that very deep-rooted need to connect with each other and to give and receive. So I wanted to invite you today or this week to just ask yourself how you feel about giving feedback in some way, responding in some way to other people's efforts. I know sometimes, and I've had conversations with my husband about this, that sometimes he can feel in a sort of paralyzed state when he doesn't know what to say. And so he, in the past, would have chosen to, rather than get it wrong or risk some kind of conflict, he would choose to say nothing. But what he didn't realise, and this was actually particularly when he used to be away for long periods of time, I would send a message or I would record a message or a text or whatever, and I would get no response. And that would either start making me very worried that something has happened, or I would get quite cross at not having a response. And when we did talk, if I said, well, did you get my message? And he said yes, that would actually fan the flames even further because it then fed into my own stuff, which was about feeling unheard and not important, and what I had to say was worthless. Anyway, that's some of my stuff, but I think that I've heard from others, from my clients and from friends, that often if they can't think of something to say that they feel is going to smooth the waters, or that isn't, is not clever enough, whatever reason, that they would rather say nothing. So I would just invite all of you to just examine whether there's any piece of that that's true for you. And I would ask you to consider how you would feel if you had taken the trouble to say, do, or create something and you got no response back. I'm also keen to ask whether that's in certain areas of your life or whether it's across the board? And is there a difference in how you relate to people online, for example, rather than in real life? Because I know from my own experience, there's an awful lot of people who I know follow me and watch these lives and look at my posts regularly. And yet, for some reason, they never respond. They never even send a like or a thumbs up or anything. And I don't know why that is. And I am not judging in any way. All I can say is that if you're online or you're in a group or you're choosing to actively follow somebody, whether that's have a relationship with them in real life or online, if for some reason you're unable to stick your head above the pulpit, to bring yourself out of your shell enough to just let the other person know that you're there, then you will never have that connection. You will never have that interaction. And who knows what possibilities may be lost from that. I remember when I was first studying homeopathy many, many years ago, in one of our live clinics, my beautiful principal, who always just said whatever he felt, he said to me, "Come on, get your head out of your shell. Tell me what you think." And it's always stuck with me that, we can be in our shells and be safe and never experience anything. Or we can just be brave and say something, anything that just lets people know that we exist, we're here, and we enjoyed what they said, or we've heard what they've said. You don't necessarily have to have some clever opinion or feedback right then and there, but to actually just give a thumbs up or just say, "Okay, thank you, I heard you. Yeah, thank you. I'll come back to you later." Or, wow, I'm not sure how to respond to that. I'll think about it and I'll come back to you tomorrow. Whatever it is, if that is feedback, that says, "Oh, great, it's landed." And if we don't get that, then it feels like we're in a vacuum. So whether it's online or in real life, if you're feeling that you're not heard, you're not seen, that what you say isn't important, or that you're fearful of getting in some kind of conflict, is that helping you to connect with people, to have deep relationships, to feel really fulfilled or stimulated? And being annoyed can be stimulated as well. Being able to say, "Actually, I don't really agree with that," or "That's not my experience." That's a response too, and that's feedback, and it's very useful. So I wanted to encourage everybody to have a look at how the whole feedback thing is working for you in your life, whether there are certain areas where it's great and others maybe not so great. And if you wanted to have some help in doing that, then that's what I do. So do book a free clarity call with me if you want to have a chat about it. But otherwise, just maybe a bit of journaling on a daily basis. How's the feedback loop working for you? Okay, bit of a long one today. I want you to have a wonderful week. If the sun is shining, enjoy it. Down tools whenever you can and get out there. It's really nurturing stuff. That's what I'm going to be doing this week. And I would love to hear from you. I would love to have some feedback from you, not only on this post, but just generally if you follow me. I would love to know whether what I'm saying is landing or not landing, or Yeah, anything, just even a thumbs up or a smiley face does it for me. Okay, hope that makes sense. Have a great week. Thanks for watching.